All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's Marketcast call. As usual, if you wouldn't mind just chiming in, let me know you can hear me all right. Should be working, but always want to double check here. All right. Thank you. Everyone else, please don't be shy. Feel free to chime in. Also, feel free to ask questions later down the road. And we'll give everybody a minute or two to get on board here. All right. That's better. Is Bitcoin crypto a market you typically consider? I suppose, what do you mean by typically consider? I mean, Bitcoin's definitely something we're analyzing on a week to week basis. It's certainly not our focus or anything, but stocks and options are kind of our main focus. But, you know, we trade things like MSTR and Coin and BitO. And so that kind of keeps us in that loop, I guess you could say. All right, cool. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, I just did a breakdown on that. Now, for my coaching program, it's kind of like a private program. I break down Bitcoin every week, and we are breaking it down this past week. Definitely looks, um, like it's kind of set to break out of its recent funk and get going again. All right, let's get into it here. Let's see. Coming into the week, our thought was we'd probably moving. Speaking of MSTR, though, right here, pretty pretty clear on the potential breakout point here. Down a little bit here in the pre-market, looks like about $7 or so, but it's a volatile guy. And once it took out that 150 shelf, which was back here, it was a pretty good sign that higher was coming. Something we've traded a few times. And then clearly going to pull back from that mark, from the 180. But if we're right about Bitcoin, should be taking off. Should break out and be running and running. But anyway, all right. Market wise, wasn't the most thrilling week really. Um, Not a whole lot happening. You'll notice the last 3 days of the week actually closing lower than we opened every day. So kind of see reading between the lines there, a little selling pressure. Um, Russell not looking great. I mean, nobody's looking like great. Dow actually kind of had like a bearish looking day here. Um, you know, the Nasdaq, the 100 that is, uh, trying all day to hold that 20K mark. So, but the way everything ended, it certainly didn't look like the market was, bullish by any stretch. Now, got to be fair, not too much that's been able to hold the market down. We've had other periods, like specifically back here on the 18th, where it definitely looked like the market was headed lower. All we did was turn around and pop the next day. Obviously, I think there was a little bit of news inducement there, but still, um, markets been in that kind of mode, just like it was back here, where it doesn't really want to go lower. What was interesting about Friday was the kind of like the little move in volatility was kind of interesting. The market really wasn't doing anything crazy, but we had this nice little mini pop, so to speak, I guess, in the VIX. So now do keep in mind, October is historically has been a weaker month, specifically in presidential year, election year. So, if we sold off and had a rough month, it wouldn't be all that, surprising. But I do think, again, speaking of the VIX, worth noting is how we've seen a market in the S&P specifically go to new highs. But notice how the VIX has created a higher low, right? So we've seen situations like that in the past, where it was has been a precursor to a sell-off. So if you go back to, say, for example, the one that pops into my head, and I'm sure there's others, but go back to 2007 and 8. I remember a similar scenario. But again, you got to go way back here. All right, so I get this out of my way. Okay. So right here's took this little step up in 2007 in April, right? The market went on to hit new highs. And the market actually went to hit new highs. I think the final new high in the S&P was October, if I remember, 2007, and then November for the Nasdaq. Right. So you'll notice how the VIX was climbing, somewhat forecasting. Okay, but if you go back here to the beginning of 2007, we had this little. That was the whole something in China, if I remember correctly, warning shot. But notice how the VIX, even though the S&P went on to continue its new highs, the VIX never came back again. And then we sold off again that July August stretch, and even though the market went on to one more high, right? Look where the VIX was. So you can look at any number of ways. More and more protections being put on, more fear is rising. However you want to look at it. There's been other times like that in the past, but and certainly doesn't have to mean anything this time. But like I said, you can kind of see how we are much higher than where we were through this stretch, and could be telling us something, right? So time will tell. Anyway, so this is the reasons we kind of came into the week, um, thinking the market would move a little lower. Look in the pre-market, kind of bouncing back here a little bit. So Um, I mean, we were down about a 0.5%. So come back a little bit, but if you look at the trend here, it's been a kind of a grind lower. So again, our view is that we'd be coming in this weekend, likely moving a little bit lower. And so far we are. We'll see if that sticks or not, or if we just kind of shrug it off and run higher again. But for now, we're kind of going with the downside. Right. If the markets move higher, different stocks we can keep an eye on. We just mentioned MSTR. Tesla actually had a pretty good, decent looking Friday. Looks like, if you look right across here, right, looks like it wants to test that 52-week high right over 270 here, here. So it looks like that's where we want to go. There is a trend line that goes back a ways. I don't know how, oops, right, how terribly important it is, but you can kind of see as you run through, right? It's something that has been tested multiple times. But I would think if you take out that, that 170 mark, I would think you're probably going to try to get back up here to this old high. So Tesla looked pretty good. Again, MSTR pulling back, but it looks like it's on the brink of breaking through. Who else did we like last week? Obviously, the China stocks moving and still moving today. PDD is one of them we were watching. Up another 7 in the pre-market. I mean, these things are all just doing their thing. There's Baba up another 5. All right, so Baidu up, what, we got 4. So all these guys are popping. 3 more here. So yeah. Um, sometime at some point the air will come out of that balloon a little bit, but right now it's still intact. But Tesla on the long side. Who else do we like? Yeah, ANF was looking pretty good. Although I personally would rather see this above 150. But nice little turnaround there. What was the other one that was a retail name that we were watching? Wasn't Target, but Lulu. Yeah. So Lulu, 280.01. I mean, we know we got a pretty good level at 280. 280.01 as a close isn't the most, you know, awe-inspiring close there, but stock had a really good end of week run the Thursday, Friday kind of combo. They're running up from 260 to 280. So a nice, I would like to see a little bit more of a push above that 280 and hold. Um, so if that happens, really like this thing to continue to recover. Certainly 300 would be one of our first targets there. So we're keeping an eye on Lulu. ANF looking pretty good. Who else we watching? Talked a little bit about crowd. ETF wise, smart trades. We're probably gonna take a look at UNG here, looking pretty nice. Taking out that 16 mark. So we've got a couple other occasions here and kind of a fake out here, but then here runs to 18 and beyond. So we kind of like this. I don't remember much else. Obviously, a counter to MSTR would be coin, so certainly something to look at that. MU had its earnings last week. So yeah, don't have much to say on that one. Failed to hold 110, which kind of seems to me problematic. Kind of held it there for a day on earnings, and then kind of gave it up. So you've seen Nvidia taking a little bit of a hit, down $3. What's our buddy SMCI doing? SMCI had a interesting day last week, Thursday, and then back to holding 400. So we had the false breakdown there, which led to a decent rally, but not the greatest trading rally here at all. I mean, actually, if you take out the rally here on the 11th, it's pretty much just doing nothing. So it's a stock we loved to trade back during this stretch. And even here, when we were getting some movement, but it's kind of slowing down a lot. So this thing might fall out of favor for us pretty soon if it doesn't kind of get moving again. Other than that, I don't think Apple's up a couple dollars. Apple's interesting here. Went right up here to this little 233 area twice. Trying to decide if I think it's a failure to hold 230 or really is this 233 up here. Let's see twice through here. So right around there. Oops. So yeah, so it's up a nice little $2 and change. We were watching Amazon. We thought the move above 190 would lead to a run to 200. Not so much. Not quite, right? So, yeah, I mean, all in all, we didn't see a whole lot that stuck out to us last week. We liked the way Tesla ended. Thought it looked sharp. A&F didn't look too shabby. Lulu, some of the bullish ones we thought looked nice. The China stocks are moving, but obviously, when you go straight up in the air like that, it does give you a little pause. But coming into the week, we had more of a bearish view of the market, so kind of made us want to be cautious on those long plays. And if we are going to go long, at least hedge ourselves and you know maybe buy a little protection. SMCI splits tomorrow. That sounds right, Randy. That does sound right. Usually you can see the little hoochmajigger there, but yeah, that sounds right. I know we're close, so I know we're getting close there. But all right, yeah. So that's how I'd be looking at it going into the week. What kind of questions everyone have? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Everybody pretty quiet today. All right. Well, let's take one more look here. And As you can see with the futures here, just chopping, chopping, chopping lower. And just another reminder that seasonally, October has not been very kind to the market, specifically in presidential years. So, um, obviously, no guarantees. Those of you that were on these calls way back in the beginning of the year, seasonally, February into March, you know, was a period of time we kind of thought we'd see some weakness and we never did, just rallied straight through it. So, no guarantees of any kind. Um, but it's been pretty consistent. I want to say 5 out of the last 6 Octobers have been down, but let's see. I think I still have this here. Let me pull it up. I keep this so everybody can see. In case I didn't show it before, let's go ahead and show it now. Vetoes. It's safe to assume you didn't hear what we talked about Bitcoin earlier. If you did hear that, that was my thoughts on Bitcoin. If not, I can certainly cover it again. But real quick, let's see. It always makes me. All right. Everybody see that there? Should see the election year seasonal pattern. All right, cool. So just so you can kind of obviously put a face to a name, so to speak, here with other than me just saying it. But you can see that now, in fairness, as you can see, September typically isn't necessarily thrilling, but I don't know. It's a goofy year, right? Um, so I don't know which one of these lines we want to look at. I guess all election years is probably your best bet there. Sitting president isn't really running, I guess. I don't know. Not really. Sort of. Not really though. And we also have a candidate. I don't recall in my lifetime. I could be wrong. Well, I don't think so. Don't I don't know. When's the last time we had somebody that wasn't a two-term president? Anyway, we have somebody that's running that obviously been president before, but then not. So I don't know. It's a goofy year. You know, goofy years. But I would go with the black line there. As you can see, September is commonly not great and or stall, right? So we focus on the black line there. You can kind of see that's kind of what we've been doing. We've got moved a little higher in September, but it's been very very weak. Not a whole lot to it. So yeah, wouldn't be bottom line. Shouldn't be too surprised, if you see some weakness there. Let me see if I can pull up the Bitcoin thing here because yeah, I covered it a little earlier. Let me pull it back up here. Give me a second. I'll just pull it up. See if my I don't know if my chart is here. If it saves it over here or not. Let me look. Probably doesn't. But let's see. Give me just a moment. Well, I guess I can't pull it up. I was going to. Maybe I can't. Hold on. What I don't know is if it's going to let me pull up the chart work I'd already done. No, I didn't look like it. Doesn't mean I can't still show you real quick. So give me a minute. Maybe I can just do it real quick on the fly here. Yeah, it doesn't. Here, I'll just do it on the fly real quick since it's not saved here. And let's go with. Okay, everybody see the Bitcoin there? On my other computer, all my technical analysis is saved, but it doesn't apparently doesn't translate. Okay, all right, cool. So here's what I'm seeing. Obviously, certainly looks like this could be the biggest cup and handle in the world. Okay, that we've seen, but it also looks like something like this. Again, I'm doing this on the fly, so bear with me. Something like this. So it also looks like that handle is like a big bull flag. Now, Bitcoin's choppy, right? So it's not the most perfect, but you get the idea. It's pretty relatively clear there. So, and it's not really a surprise. Like if you look at Bitcoin seasonality and such, um, everything is happening as one might expect. So, pretty good week last week. Past couple weeks, obviously, with Bitcoin, but it certainly appears that technically there is a massive rally coming, or just continuation of this one, really. But does that make sense to all you Bitcoiners? You can kind of see again the big cup, one might say, the big cup handle. One of the better ones you might see, but regardless, this looks like a bull flag. So make sense? Yeah, it does. So just take the height. Um, so you would take the height of the cup. Usually is what you would do there. So the height of the pattern. I just closed it, so I don't have it anymore. But whatever the height of that thing was. So, but there's been a lot of pretty big projections out there for Bitcoin. Different ways to project with it too. Um, I mean, there's all kinds of different. Like Bitcoin, there's like a I don't know. There's all kinds of different projection tools that they're using. I've seen some pretty lofty numbers, knee deep into the six figures, 200 ish, 250. I think all that's realistic when you look at that pattern. In other words, if you told, and I think Bitcoin's seasonal pattern, I think it lasts going into the beginning of next year, assuming that it's holding true to form. I want to say the seasonality of it keeps going, the bullishness of it. And so, you know, if spring of next year, if you told me Bitcoin was somewhere around 200, I would be 0% surprised. I don't think that's a crazy number or anything. So, but all right, there you have it, folks. All right, let's have a good week. Let's make a few bucks. See everybody next Monday.